I've loved what he's given to the club. I mean, I love what he wants to give to us this season as well. And Addin's as motivated as I've seen. Been really obvious to me in all my discussions. And Addin and Anna have always made it clear, his wife, that it's not about not loving it here. They absolutely love it. They love the club. They love the country. But they got a real family thing that they need to attend to, and they need to get home and be there. So that's hard to take, but you got to support him on that, and we support Addin and his family 100%. And if everything is still fine and done, well, he goes with our full support, because we've communicated really well with Addin over this, and he's communicated well with us.
Yeah, look, audio not perfect over there, but yeah, you get the gist of it. That's Andrew Webster over there chatting with the run home with Kirsty and the Beaver and SENZ. But he's always a class act, isn't he? And I know I go on about this a fair bit, but the Dale Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, but he naturally does that. And if you're going to lose someone, other people could throw the toys out and then it all ends in a fractured relationship. But Andrew Webster probably has a realisation, look, it is what it is. I've only got him for a year, and I need to make the absolute most of the situation in which I'm in. So I need to be loving this bloke, pumping him up and getting the absolute best once again out of Addin Fonua-Blake. Is that how you read it?
Yeah, I think he's smart. I think he was probably the pick of the new coaches, like new head coaches last year. He sort of did better than expectation. But he's one of those guys who's had, and you hear it he's sort of almost a very mature approach to being a coach, as especially a guy who's head coach for 1 year and then has this sort of to deal with.
Yep.
It's the approach. He's almost got a more experienced head than that, but he's had a sneakily long career as an assistant and in the coaching sort of milieu.
Yep.
So I think that's reflected in that sort of approach where I think he's just thinking, okay, well, I've got a long-term plan. We've got the next 12-month window that we want to keep him happy. We want to keep this side together because we think we're onto something. But also long-term, if you're getting diminishing returns out of a bloke who doesn't want to be there, then it's best to find that middle ground, shoot your window now and try and, go for it this year. If you're a Warriors fan, you know that if he's done that to keep Addin Fonua-Blake around, that they believe they've got something special that they can really have a crack at it this year.
Totally agree. 4-year deal with the Sharkies starting in 2025. Mascot Junior, Dally in front row of the year. So he returns to Australia. Now, both the contracts, Addin Fonua-Blake and also Jarome Luai, the pending contracts, Fonua-Blake with the Sharks, Luai with the Tigers, I kind of feel like your first 2 years you might get a stack out of them. But what can you possibly get for them after? So therefore, to justify the contracts, you've almost got to cash in. Look, I think if you had Addin Fonua-Blake and you won one premiership, paid for. That's paid for, right?
Yeah.
The other side of things is, so that's the Addin Fonua-Blake situation. If we talk about Jarome Luai, so Jarome Luai heading to the Tigers, Michael Shamus writes this in the Sydney Morning Herald. He wrote this on Saturday. He's set to sign a monster 5-year deal worth more than $6 million with the West Tigers, so $1.2 million a year. It is understood the Tigers are yet to officially lodge the offer with the NRL, but hope to do so in the coming days. Panthers star 5'8" has told coaching staff and teammates on Saturday he will not be at Penrith beyond next season. Is set to join the joint venture for 2025. And he did play, of course, with Api Coruscant. Luai has not attended the past 2 training sessions since he announced his move with his teammates. So Shamus has been across the situation reporting. Luai's representatives have since informed the club that Jarome needs time away from the club. He wouldn't be at training to deal with the fallout of what has been a rather dramatic week. And I can get that. And he does cop a fair bit, Jarome Luai. Where do I stand on the signing of Jarome Luai? Well, I'm sort of torn a little bit on this one. The $1.2 million, which Shawnee sort of references well done to his management team. I think it's Sam Ayub in the team, or Liam Ayub perhaps. And $1.2 million over 5 years is top freight money.
Yeah.
Right? And if you think about the game or the show Moneyball, he may have turned up to the Tigers having won four competitions where he might have been on 700,000 or so. So that's what the Panthers have dealt with. So therefore, the Tigers are paying the best part of a $500,000 premium for a player who he does rely on his athleticism a lot for his game. He's not the, like Adam Reynolds where he's a bit more crafty. It doesn't need the same speed and energy that maybe a Jarome Luai does. So how much of that do you get from 28 to 32? And the question I'll ask is, how many players have gone to another club on a marquee contract post-28 and it's been a big, big hit? Does any come to mind?
Not off the top of my head, although I will say in the last couple of years, like I'm putting Nathan Cleary aside because I feel like he's sort of an exception to most of the rules we make in rugby league. Older, smarter halves tend to be dominant. I think halves mature later than a lot of other positions. Like you said with the Addin Fonua-Blake situation, it's your front rower that can, when they hit a wall, that falls off pretty quickly.
Yep.
Whereas I feel like the halves, if they can keep their body in good shape, they learn to play smarter. We said that with Daly Cherry Evans, like in the last couple of years, just ball on a string, smart play. So you'd hopefully, if you're a Tigers fan, you want to hope that Jarome Luai matures into that sort of smart player.
Yes.
And it changes over time. We even saw that with Benji Marshall. Similar thing when he was young playing. It was athleticism. It was that step. It was all the little tricks. And then in the last few years, he just became the guy who was smarter than everyone else on the field.
But not $1.2 million smarter. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there is that. But then I suppose that we're seeing the market for halves is just going up and up and up. So, I mean, he is coming there potentially with 4 premierships. He's joining up with their hooker, Api Coruscant, who he won the first 2 with. Yep. So I wonder if that was, because if I'm Benji Marshall, I'd look at this year and you go, okay, well, Api Coruscant was a revelation for this club in a lot of ways. Like he's definitely an influential player, a leader on the field. How much do you think would you have gone do you think Benji's gone to him and said, what do you reckon about bringing him over?
Definitely. And so that was my only concerns about the price tag and the age. But at the end of the day, they need a kill as far as a big signing is concerned. And maybe, and this is being positive towards Dale Finucane. Dale Finucane signed a pretty decent contract to go to the Sharks. Now, he may not have been able to physically produce on the field due to injuries and whatever else, that sort of type of value, but what he's brought to the club, all ships rise with the tide. He's been able to get an extra 5% out of all of his peers, which has been all reports, the standards that he set when he came to the club. Sharks finished that first season with him in 2nd position. So I think Jarome Luai is that kind of guy who could maybe have that, maybe not be able to justify the 1.2 on the field, but can he justify it by dragging the whole group up? And maybe he can. He's an absolute winner. There's no doubt about that. This is the one I'm disappointed about. Junior Tupou set to sign with the Dolphins. Mick Karianis and Brent Reid from the Daily Telegraph. Junior Tupou has entered the final year of his deal and has attracted a significant offer from the Dolphins, which he has indicated he will accept. This is the young Tigers winger, making him the poster boy for the game's new 10-day contracting window. Look, if you're dealing with Peter O'Sullivan and he's hell-bent and he's the doyen of recruitment behind all those signings, Smith, Slater, Cronk, Inglis, and all these guys who you hadn't heard, he tends to get these guys before anyone's really heard of them. And when we've got a Junior Tupou who's 21 and he's clearly got great ability, he can play in the centres, he could probably play in fullback if he had to lose him to Peter O'Sullivan and the Dolphins, it's just, that in 12 months' time, it's Peter O'Sullivan 1, Tigers 0 in that transaction.
But that because it's the Tigers, if he does turn out to be something, no one will make it. None of the media types will make anything of the Tigers letting another one go.
No.
That won't be a story we see on NRL 360.
Yeah,
that team's already full. Yeah. The 17 that were at the Tigers. But do you think it's savvy from the Dolphins? I was thinking about it, like in terms of the new board coming in. Richo's been quite vocal about how well he thinks of Jarome Luai. Tupou's off contract. There's other teams that have been interested in him as well. It would be a fairly bad, I'm not saying bad play, but it's a big play to lock in Luai for that 5-6 and then technically pay overs for Tupou back-to-back. And it seems like the Dolphins and the other teams, I can't remember who the other team was that was interested, maybe the Bulldogs.
Roosters, weren't they?
Roosters.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was St. George.
Yeah, St. George. Like they've all seen an opportunity here to go, well, while they're concentrating on, it's like the board game Risk. Like while they're pushing into Russia, we'll just come in from Brazil and Storm it and get Tupou.
Yep.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
And it's like sort of they've been handcuffed because they want to make the big signing for the new era, but they're going to have to lose him in the process.
And then the talk that I'm seeing on social media, like, we cannot do this. So Paul Bunn down in Melbourne, similar to Peter O'Sullivan, they're just guns, right? This chat around Blore, if Melbourne are so hung up to get Blore, there's no way in the world I'm not respecting the eyes of a Paul Bunn, and they also do their research about the personalities. And if they're prepared to let Justin Olam go for Sean Blore, you got to respect who's negotiating here. And Paul Bunn and the Storm are too smart.
Don't play the hand you got. Play the man.
Play the man.
This is the thing. When you're sitting across the poker table from a guy you know wins the World Series of Poker every year, you don't worry about what you got in your hand. You worry about what he's got in his hand or what he wants on the table, what he wants you to think he's got.
Correct. So if you put your sort of hat on the other end, if Paul Bunn and the Melbourne Storm are very happy with the transaction, which is Sean Blore for Olam, and they therefore leave as if they've won the trade, they probably have won the trade, haven't they?
Yeah,
based on their track record?
Yeah, based on history, definitely.
Yeah. So bail out of that. That's straight away, I'd be saying to my management team, guys, listen, when we are not playing in this, it is just so disrespectful of the talent identification that they've had for a long, long time. I'd be bailing out of that particular one. We've already lost Junior Tupou. 1300 0111 70. I will say, though, I did really like what Shane Richardson did straight off the get-go. He made a statement as to, we're not going to be puppeteered by everyone. We're pulling out of Fonua-Blake. And they told everyone before it was, we've missed out on Fonua-Blake.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was straight up and down. He said, we're pulling out of Fonua-Blake. And then he was quite open to the fact that they were going to go after Luai too. And that's what they've done. He showed his hand early there, I suppose.
Can I say my best guess with the withdrawal of the contract for Fonua-Blake, Shane Richardson is very well connected, and had a long time at the Cronulla Sharks. So he has connections, and my best guess is he would have got strong wind that the Sharkies are a front runner and they're all in. So they're going to withdraw before they're told they've ran second or third again. That's my best guess. And that's very smart if he's done that.
That's exactly. Maybe you could give some advice over to St. George in terms of that too. Because I think that's, once you know the writing's on the wall, you're better off, declaring that, we're not that interested anyway. No, I didn't break up with you. You didn't break up with me. I broke up with you.
It's all the signs.
So are you suggesting that down there in Dragonville, someone's come and said, Fonua-Blake's off to the Sharks. 10 days not up yet. 10 days is not up yet.
There's a few 10 days they need to keep it on.
10 days is a long time in rugby league. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. So there you go, 1300 01 1170. That is the case there. Jack Whiten sent a scare through the Rabbitohs. This is via the Daily Telegraph. The new Rabbitohs recruit collapsed to the ground during a session this morning. He was carried from the training field with initial thoughts of a serious injury. Whiten was later diagnosed with a calf injury by the Rabbitohs training staff. It is the old man injury of rugby league. Jason Dimitrios hoping that Whiten will be running freely by mid-January.
Ooh, running freely. We've all got that goal, though, don't we?
Yeah.
That's my New Year's resolution, too. I want to be running freely by mid-January.
Correct. Aaron Woods and Billy Walters visit the NFL on Fox Studios. Iconic video of Rob Gronkowski in a Seagulls jersey spiking a steeding yesterday. What have we made of the US promotional tour? I think, you know what, this NRL with Abdo and Volandis are getting stuff done. And I reckon they're starting to make a bit of noise. Rob Gronkowski, good get. What do you reckon, Gibbo?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great to see finally, as rugby league fans, all of us here in this studio are, for so long, you watch the AFL and you watch what they do, and they know how to get stuff done.
Yep.
They all have just left rugby league in their dust for so long. It's good now. We're going to Vegas. They went to China.
Yep.
Didn't work.
Yep.
We're going to Vegas. Hopefully it goes well. And I think it's great. Maybe, I'm not sure if they picked the right players to go over there, but nevertheless.
It is an interesting combination of players they've got over there.
Absolutely.
Aaron Woods, I love the guy, but he's not exactly Manly's number one pick any given week, is he? But you know what? He's a big personality. He probably, and having said that from a marketing point of view, You throw a big bearded Aaron Woods, big blokey Aussie.
Well, they've gone with the Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey, do you know who he is, Barney?
Yes.
So he's the sort of hot property at the moment. He was voted sexiest man on whatever it was, which is a bit of a PI55 take. And I reckon the NRL's gone for that. Okay, let's go for the Jason Kelsey equivalent.
Who's our lumberjack-looking bloke?
Yeah.
It's Aaron Woods. Come on, mate.
Do you not think, though, boys, if we were going to do it, why didn't we do it right? You send over Reece Walsh. Like, you I don't know, you just get it done. You send it, I guess because he's under 21, would he be? Or over 21?
No, I think he'd be 21.
Okay,
He'd be
well,
21.
Reece Walsh has got to get over there.
Yep.
James Tedesco's got to get over there. Let's send Tommy Turbo.
Paddy
over
Carrigan
there.
would have been a good one, I reckon.
Yeah, they'd like a Paddy Carrigan, I reckon.
Yep.
You know where you'd
With
send Paddy
greatest
Carrigan?
respect to Billy Walters, and I love Kevy, love Billy, but
Yeah.
Paddy Carrigan, a big presence, is the one.
You know where I'm thinking when they because I mean I think they've chosen these guys for the NFL coverage. I'd like to see them get another opportunity, maybe WWE Raw.
Yep.
That's where I'm seeing Paddy Carrigan. How good would he be
I know.
ringside, just doing the interview with a couple of those wrestlers? Then all of a sudden you see him, he's giving the people's elbow.
Yeah, I
Yes.
love that. And you know what? I don't even believe that you have to send the teams over there. Like if you want to send a Herbie Farmworth, have an English accent over there, I don't think you have to send necessarily the 4 teams that are going.
We could send whoever they want. Like, they're not going to know. It's not like the game's going to go on and they're going to be like, hey, where's that Nathan Cleary bloke?
Yeah.
So don't worry about it, mate.
And you know the thing, like we go on with, and I knew we'd do it. It was a bit predictable where, we don't have helmets, we don't have pads.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. I'd rather them go, well, our players do offense and defense, and we do the lateral passes, which you love, and celebrate more of that.
You know what? And this just occurred to me now. What I would have loved to have seen is the. I remember one day when we were at Fox bumping into Sam Burgess and Luke Keary, and just chatting to the two of them side by side, and having the realisation, these blokes play the same game.
Yeah.
Like that bloke may have to tackle that bloke, and and as much as I think Sam was a decent tackler, how's he going to lay a hand on Luke Keary? I mean, unbelievable. But you know what I mean? That you show that these two blokes and this little bloke has to defend. That would blow their minds.
Yep.
That matchup, because over there, especially NFL, it's so specialised that if the punter kicks downfield and the ball's getting returned, they're half worried about him trying to lay on a tackle because his leg's worth more than whatever yardage he's going to give up. So I think that the big bloke, little bloke, I reckon that's a good combination to put on these things.
I don't mind that either. Look, if you had Kalen Ponga there showing his highlights reel, Dom Young, who's got that sort of English influence, showing him diving for tries and all that sort of stuff.
We don't say his name anymore since he's left the Knights.
Oh, the Knights.
He's dead to us.
Right, we're going to miss him?
Are we going to miss him?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
What do you think for the Knights next year?
Mate, you know what? I've started so many years feeling upbeat and been disappointed. This year, I started with low expectations and was pleasantly surprised as the year went on. So I'm hoping they just continue. I think they're moving in the right direction. From what I've heard, they've got some salary cap issues in the round. They don't have a lot of room for recruitment to replace blokes who are leaving, who are becoming sort of getting to that next level where they're sort of attracting bigger money. So hopefully they continue their build. But because you know what, I think it all is around if Kalen Ponga can stay fit all season.
Yep.
And I think that there's a good chance for the Knights.
Warriors are open to discussions with the NRL for Vegas in 2025, so I do believe they're going to share them around the teams as well. New Zealand Herald is saying the Warriors are in preliminary discussions with the NRL to head to Vegas for the second edition. They want to gain an understanding of the process. Just before we go to the break, I'm very strong on, Barney, and I'll be interested in your thoughts. If we want to break in to get the American athlete, and I've said it a number of times in this program, we have to go after the NRLW girls.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a far easier transition. They haven't been playing as long. They haven't all been playing since they were 6. That's our entry into the States and to get the American athletes is to go after the girls to play in the NRLW.
So are you thinking you're targeting the sort of high school, college system? Get
basketball, track athletes, get those in the combine.
Even some of the field athletes, because they, your discus, your shot putters,
right.
we need forwards.
That's very true.
But there's some strong athletes around there.
Of course.
So I think, get it. I think that's a good strategy, and I think that there is that. And someone made the point on air, it might have been a caller a few days ago, about the fact that in the States, outside of, in terms of organised sports, they very much, once they finish high school, unless they go to play in college, most of them stop playing competitive sports around 18.
Yep.
And there is a big area where there's people that still want to be competitive, still want to play.
Yep.
But they don't have the avenues, and that to me seems like there's an opportunity there too.
My gut feel is the NRL are going to nail this. I've just got a big gut feel about it. It's the run home with Joel and Fletch with Barney in the chair today. Have your say, 1300 01 1170. We have been talking about success. We might talk a few plotters after this. It's the run home with Joel and Fletch.